have you been trying to really transform your life? Have you been thinking, like, if I could just get this done, if I could just get there, if I could just, well, then you just want to pay attention to today's recording and episode of I Am and More presents The Journey to More. You all know who I am. I am the entrepreneur's attorney and business strategist and legal expert, attorney Jamila Moore, where I not only help you start and grow your business from scratch, I help you legally protect your profits, your brand, and your business through contracts, trademarks, and copyrights. And I care a lot about y'all. I care so much about y'all that I want to make sure that we're not wealthy and imbalanced, that we really are whole entrepreneurs, right? Happy, none of them other issues. So today we're going to dive into that. And my special guest, Coach Tanisha, she is going to break down all that she is, because I can't even put into words the impact that she's going to have based on her experience and exposure. So, Coach Tanisha, thank you for coming on, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. So I am Tanisha James, and I go by my friends call me Tuka. Either one works. I'm a former teacher. I've taught for 10 years, and during the pandemic, I had a life-changing shift. So in the middle of the pandemic, like at the very beginning of the pandemic, I ended up having a moment where the Holy Spirit spoke to me and told me that the way that I was living, how I felt, I had so many illnesses, and I just made a decision to reach out to a friend that I knew who was a coach, who had an amazing framework for health, and she's always been the healthiest person I know, and she completely changed my life. So now I get the opportunity to serve women and show them how to put their oxygen mask on themselves first so that they can breathe life into the people around them. Because I was the woman who was doing everything for everybody and I was nowhere on that list. And so now I get to teach women how to put themselves at the top of their own to-do list with confidence and not feeling like they're neglecting their responsibilities or feeling guilty, because it's something that we all deal with.
Yeah, she already. I know some women probably. Hold on, let me put the information out because people are already trying to get there. Like, hold on, I have not been putting on my oxygen mask. And you know what, you men, you not tuning out because you need to put on your
That's right.
oxygen mask too. I've been watching a few of y'all.
That's right.
Them oxygen masks are not on.
Are not on.
Yes, yes, provide, but do something else too to
Right.
take care of yourself. God
That's
has
right.
called us to live. You know, I was reading in Proverbs the other night, and it was like it talked about labor, and I was like, ooh, I think the majority of us are stuck in the labor world. So we're
Mhm.
not really living. Like God has
Mhm.
called us not to be lazy, but He didn't call us to be laborers.
Mhm.
Um, what are your thoughts? Like when you had this awakening, like what was going through your mind?
So if I look back in my journals, like for like 15 years before the pandemic, I'm praying and I'm asking God for things that I don't even know what they look like, but I just know it's possible. So I'm like, Lord, I would like a life of vitality, like where I can impact the lives of others. So I'm asking for these things, but I don't know how God is going to make it happen. But I promise, I was in my bed and I just had a moment and I was like, this is not it. This is not it. And everything that I went to the program to get, I came with more because honestly, I just wanted to look in my mind. So this is where we're going to talk about the importance of your mindset, because I had these limits on God, because in my mind, I just wanted to lose 50 pounds. Okay,
Mm.
forget the fact that I was on high blood pressure medication. I would have these ocular migraines where I would lose my vision and I couldn't see. I had my cycles were terrible. I had no energy, right? I just felt terrible. Forget that part. I just want to lose 50 pounds, right? So, what I
Yeah.
learned from that whole experience, though, is like God will bless you with more than you even know to ask Him for. So, what I got when I made the decision was more than I even asked God for. So, He gave me what I asked for, this life of vitality and this life where I could be impactful and change the lives of people, but He gave me some more. And I learned that about Him. Like, He always gives me what I ask for. Might take longer, but He gonna give me some more. It's not gonna just be what I asked for because He's that good to me.
He's
And so that decision, it just, first of all, I learned that there was so much more attached to the weight and the health issue. There was so much more, it was deeper than that. But that's just what you could see, like
mm,
what was on the outside. So I learned that it was much deeper than that.
So when you say it was much deeper than that, what was that deep part?
I get you. So I could be here all day talking about them, but I know for sure. So first of all, we could physically see that my body wasn't healthy,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there were some things that people couldn't see
Mm-hmm.
because when I showed up every day, like for those who know me, like I'm an energetic person, I'm gregarious, I'm sociable, I'm smiling, but they don't know that I feel terrible, right? That I'm a good mother, but I'm not the best mother that I could be because I really don't have the energy to even
Mm-hmm.
much play with my children, right? So
Yeah.
my body is the part that we can see that's unhealthy. But what I learned is beneath all that is not just about a healthy body. My mind was unhealthy. So I had something that I call superwoman syndrome, where I feel like I got to do everything for everybody. But there's something behind that because I don't want to offend you. So I want you to see me as a good friend. And so I'm thinking if I say no to your request, then you would think I'm not a great friend. And I have to do all these things. So I was the type of person that people knew they can count on me. I'm reliable. They can trust me to do what I say I'm going to do. Not knowing that it's pushing out the space that I need to take care of myself. So I'm great to you. I'm a great friend to you, but I'm not great to me. So that was the first thing. I had superwoman syndrome. I also suffer from a little perfectionism. So I thought, if it ain't right, if it ain't perfect, it ain't really don't count. So that's all about my mindset. I've already told you how my mindset was small because God wants to bless me real big, but I was asking for little stuff, right? So I didn't even have enough faith in him. And I think sometimes like we ask God for things that are so little, we don't really even gotta try him. Like he said, try me. That's where the glory happens. That's where he gets glorified when he blesses us real big. But I didn't believe to ask for that. So that was the first thing. My mindset was unhealthy. Next, I had bad boundaries. So that
Oh.
was my next thing that was like not healthy was my boundary. Like I did not realize that like I'm a human being, I'm not God. So I have personal limits. There's some things that I just can't do. There's some things that I just need to say no to. And it's not just limits with like what I can't do, but I had like an inability to say no, like not recognize my limits as it relates to my time, what I put in my body. Like, and I think it blesses my friends when I put a little limit on you, right? And say, like, hey, this is what I expect, or this is what I need in a relationship. So I didn't do that. I had expectations of people. Now I'm mad because you didn't meet them and I never told you, all these things. And I also did not know how to manage my feelings well.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold on, hold on. No, we not, we
I
not,
got a lot.
we're not gonna go
This is
all.
all stuff that came up just from trying to lose weight.
Because okay, I mean, we get ready for the next 40 minutes, okay?
Get ready.
Because y'all, she done already just gave so much, and I'm about to push this even
Okay.
further because what you were breaking down was everything that happens in our life is
Yep.
spiritual.
Yep.
Every single thing that happens in our
Everything.
life. And so when we show up in a certain way in
Mhm.
the physical, it's
Yep.
because we miss some things spiritually.
Yep. That's right.
And then if we trace that back, what you were saying is everything started with your mind. And
Yep.
to be honest, I am in the middle of a mental reset.
I love it.
I know that God is like, you cannot stay here with these thoughts. You cannot stay here with this way of being. And so right now, I have to train you in your thinking.
That's right.
And so everything, and so I was listening to Cindy Trim last night, and even Myron Golden did a
Mhm.
lesson on how your thoughts translate to your
Yep.
feelings translate to your
Yep.
emotions dictate your
That's right.
actions dictate your habits dictate your life.
Let's go.
And so you want to change your life without changing your thinking.
That's right.
You want to change your life without changing your feelings. You want to change your life without changing your habits.
That's right.
And so, if we are going, because we said this is the number one thing that can transform your business and your life.
Hmm.
If you want to transform your business and your life, you have to transform your thinking. Let me give you some Bible for you. Be ye transformed by the renewing of
Of
your
your
mind.
mind.
Some of the smallest verses in the Bible are the most
Mhm.
impactful verses, are
Yep.
the verses that we are supposed to lean into and be our daily guide.
That's right.
Yesterday's mind cannot take you into today.
That's right. And do you know something too? Like a lot of times I feel like we want, like what we want the goal, we want the thing. But when we focus really so hard on that, like we negate what it takes every day to get up. So, like, I lost 80 pounds, but I have to still get up every single day and make a decision to do the things. So, you want to be a successful attorney, but you still have to make a decision every day to get up and do the things that led you here. And if you skip that part of the process, like if we just automatically fast forward and we've achieved our goal without that process part, we're not gonna keep it. We're not gonna keep it.
Wait, we're going to pause here because your goal was 50, but you
Yes.
lost 80
Yes.
because you went back and got to the root of the
Yep.
issues. Okay, so talk to me about that moment when you hit like 65 pounds lost because now you exceeded your goal. What was your feeling, your thoughts, and everything like?
So I'm gonna tell you, this is the benefit of having an amazing coach. Because from the day that I came in, first of all, she never really let me focus on weight, but secretly I was focusing on weight. Okay. So I came for the 50. So as we we're approaching the 50, I'm feeling like, yay, we made it. And I mentioned it to her, and she was like, what you're not gonna do is limit God. She's like, just do the work. She was like, go to work, do the work. You know what I'm saying? Do the work every day and watch what happens. And so that's how we got there. So around 65, I'm not totally sure that I'm there because I'm not really allowed to weigh. That's not her focus. Her focus is health. So I'm not allowed to weigh. But she's like, do work. And so around 65 ish, I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what God can do. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say he can only get like big glory when he blesses you in a big way because I am like the least likely candidate. You know, like my friends and family that know me, they're like, you don't need Oreos anymore. Like it had to be me. It had to be me to show them, like, if she can let go of Oreos, surely we can let go of whatever our thing is, right? Because this is how
Mm-hmm.
they knew me. You see what I'm saying? So that was the whole purpose. Like, we can be on this all day. Listen, the losing the weight had nothing to do with vanity.
Okay, but we can be on this all day, but what your coach has you do, and this is the reason why you need a coach,
Yep.
they can push you beyond your comfort zone
Yep.
and give you the
Framework.
roadmap and the
Mm-hmm.
framework
Mm-hmm.
on how to think about
Yep.
what you're trying to get to,
Yep.
right? And that revolutionizes your life. And that's one of the things I try and tell my clients. And a lot of them, as they're launching their profitable business, because I'm not gonna let that sit down because people launch, but we launch with profit over here,
Right.
right?
That's right. Not for fun.
And the life transformation that has to happen
Yep.
for them to be that level of a CEO.
That's
I
right.
said to one person one day, I said, "What are you doing this for?" And it was just like, well, I had never thought about that before.
Mm.
Right. And so this is the same approach that your coach took with you
Yep.
on what are you doing this for?
Yep.
Right. It has to be beyond the pound.
What you see.
Right?
Yep.
You have to have why PD always says this, Dr. Darius Dance. He says, when you lose your willpower, it's your why power
It's
that's
your
going
why
to
power.
drive you.
Yep.
And so if you have not sat down and really got through the why power, of
Mm-hmm.
course you're not going to have any willpower. And so you coach women, you help them put on their oxygen masks. One of my coaches had to get me together with that on my. He was like, "You be serving them clients before you serve you,
Yep.
and it's cool, but you gotta serve you.
Yep.
You gotta serve God first, and you gotta serve you. So, figure it out."
Yep.
How do you kind of walk women through that because they come to you and they're barely breathing? How
Yep.
you get them to start breathing, girl?
So the first thing, and you kind of touched on this a little bit when you were talking about the why power, because it's like a lot of times we feel like the reason why we're doing a thing has to do with us or how people see us, but each of us has some specific assignment. some specific gifts that God has given us. A lot of times we don't even know what they are. So a lot of times when I'm working with women, they will have incredible like personality and behavioral attributes that they don't even see as gifts. So we always start with self-awareness. Like that's where we're always going to start. And one of the most impactful ways that I changed my life was the DISC assessment. Not the regular one, but the one that tells you what motivates you and all of that. So we start there so that you can start to see these things that you do with ease as gifts, right? And that you're not using them just for you, or they were giving to you for the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to look at who are you doing this for? Like you said, who are you doing it for? But also we talk about habits. Like habits is what do you do? Like what are you doing? Like a lot of times we're doing things repeatedly, and that's really who we are, but you have the power to change that. So what's normal today, we can make a new normal, and you literally are what you repeatedly do. So a lot of times people know what to do, but we give ourselves passes. So this is why you have to have a great coach to kind of hold you accountable, have a great community around you, so it matters who you do it with. So we unpack, what does this circle around you look like? And I learned that from Pastor Daniels about relational intelligence. It changed my life and learning how to place the people. So I show people how to place people properly. And then we talk about everybody can't go with us, and that's okay. That's okay. I think about when I was a kid, and I don't know if this happened to anybody else. When I was a kid, like my aunt or somebody get ready to go, and there's only so many seats in the car, and all the cousins can't go, but the ones who got up early, they could go. It's like that. Like you got to get ready. Everybody can't fit in the car, and you literally have to be okay with that. But one of the biggest things we talk about is confidence. Like, how do you make you believe you again? Because you have told you so.
Hold on. You not skirting
Okay, don't
past
skirt.
that. The biggest thing you talk about in your program is
Yep,
confidence. How you get you to believe
you
you
again.
again.
That's
No,
it.
we breaking that down.
Yeah.
Because how many people can say they don't believe themselves anymore?
Hmm. And even if you don't say it, sometimes when you say you're going to do something, there's a part of you that knows, I told myself this before and I didn't do it.
Mm. So
Right?
you lost trust in yourself.
You lost confidence in
Now
you.
it's moving, is impacting your confidence.
And you
Ooh.
wonder, am I going to do what I said I'm going to do?
Mm.
Well, how do you fix that? You start by doing what you told yourself you were going to do. So a lot of times we think, I got this big goal. I'm off to the races. I'm starting this new thing on Monday and I'm going to be brand new. No, you're going to create some small action steps so you can get these little daily wins that don't seem like anything. But a month from now, when you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I used to hit the snooze button when I woke up in the morning, right? That's a personal agreement with you. When that alarm goes off and you told yourself you were getting up at 5:30, whatever your time is, 6:30, and you say, not today, and you snooze. So let's just start with doing what we told ourselves we were going to do. So this is why, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. I'm like this is resonating with me because I really feel good about taking my vitamins every day right now.
Yep.
Uh,
There you go. See?
and it's just one of those things where it's not what I'm telling myself not to do, is what I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
myself to
To
do.
do.
And then also giving myself grace to
Yeah,
grow and
that's
to
right.
mess up and to build it until it's just automatic in my life. And I think sometimes we as people, we don't we don't set realistic goals. Like we all hear about SMART
Yep.
goals,
Yep.
specific,
And I'm not a fan of smart goals at all.
all the different things, right? But that realistic part, God has dealt with me with that over years. Like, girl,
Yeah.
you went from this to this, and now you just think you're supposed to do this, and you thought it's gonna do it. I'd be like, yeah, that's what I thought. I'm Jamila.
Yeah.
What do you mean, God? He's like, no, you're human, and
Yeah.
you have to take those small action steps. But then, too, when the action doesn't happen, you don't penalize yourself. I said to someone today, they sent me a text message. I said, don't ever talk to yourself like that again.
Don't do that. Yep.
Don't ever talk to yourself like that again. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that
Mhm.
mindset and our thinking, and how our thinking is creating these damaging worlds
Yeah.
for our lives. So if you don't think right, of course you can't live right. And to your point about confidence, so if I tell myself I can't do it, then I'm confident that I can't do it.
that you can't do it. And I think the grace also comes in, like you said, I'm taking my vitamins every day. Somebody might hear that and they might say, oh, that's not a big deal. But it is. It is. It's a commitment that you made to yourself. And guess what? Today, you really have to kind of think about, okay, let me take my vitamins today. But 6 months from now, it'll be intuitive. You will do it just instinctively because it's what you do, because you are what you repeatedly do. So it's conscious today, but this is how you build the new normal, right? So it's not normal today, but if you keep doing it, you'll do it without thinking. It'll be so much a part of your day that you will get up and do it and you won't even give it a second thought. And so that's how the confidence is developed. And we
Mm,
just, and we don't even want to talk about momentum, but that's like that's like the main thing is like just how do you get yourself to believe you again? Start doing what you told yourself you were gonna do.
yeah, yeah, that's so good, so strong. I love it. And two, I think just to share the journey so that people can really hear like how you start to build a habit is one that moment of that thinking,
Yeah.
then it's the belief, and then it's like what you do when you don't do what you said you were going to do.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so for me, it was like, okay, why not take my vitamins today?
Right.
Oh, well, I had to get them all out. So getting them all out is a
Right.
barrier for me to do the thing that I'm supposed to do. So now I get my vitamins out for the week and maybe a day or two extra. So I just go to the little thing and blah, 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 blah. I got my vitamins,
Yep.
right? And so as you're going along this journey of transformation, you have to study the data of you.
Yep.
And when you study the data of you, it will give you feedback on the things that you need to take action to get to the next
Mhm.
level. And so I know that my life is like meant for ease. And when it's
Yeah.
not easy, I'm off.
Yeah.
And so even yesterday, I was like, what's happening today? I was like, oh, you have no food prepared. You have no food prepared because you was just traveling. So it's just like all of those things. So I'm like, man, like, well, how do I get food already prepared when I'm traveling now? Like,
Yeah.
so you have to make those types of game plans in
You do.
order to be successful and transform your life and your business. This is my last thing I'm gonna say on it because I know I'm like going in, but they say this all the time. Like if you fail to plan, you plan to
Plan to
fail.
fail.
And that is strong for our thinking.
Hmm.
That is strong for our belief systems and
Yep.
it's strong for our habits.
Yep.
We cannot go through life living life non-intentional.
Yep. And when you were talking about the how your thinking affects your beliefs, I think we would all be better off if we just recognize like it's a thought pattern
Mhm.
and you have the ability to change the pattern. But we're wired to be comfortable. Let's get that clear first. So we as humans, we're designed to want to be comfortable. So a lot of times when our mind is on this autopilot thing, we're happy that way, right? But you can create the autopilot. So it starts though with, like you said, that intentionality of being like, okay, where are the thoughts that I'm having? So this is something we deal with. I do a 7-day mindset reset,
Okay.
and we talk about, catching, like, let's think about what you're thinking about today, right? And when you have thoughts, that's why I love your shirt so much, the I am, like whatever comes after that. When you think about it, it's not lining up, we can decide to make it something else. You can change that thought, which is going to give you a different belief, which is going to give you a different action, right? But you have to be intentional on the front end. And I think also having a good squad. So we're not doing it by ourselves. We got a squad. And that's how we get the accountability, you know?
Yes, that no, I do know. And God has been reminding me of how he gave me the blueprint. And I gotta put the website up because some people need to head over to the website right now and grab their sweatshirt, grab their journal that says win the day the night before.
That's right.
When
Girl,
we wake up in the morning and we're trying to plan for the day on the day, we have failed to plan.
already,
So we've planned
already.
to fail. And so if we don't pull this together, starting at least
Mhm.
with like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4
Right.
minutes at night, really planning our day,
Yep.
Ah,
Yep.
we are not maximizing the momentum that we could build. We are setting ourselves up not to trust ourselves. We are setting up ourselves to not be confident in ourselves because we have not decided to win the day
That's right.
the night before.
That's
And
right.
then I gotta go here. When
Yep.
you talk about this thinking, God had me break down, give people affirmations to disrupt the pattern.
Yep.
So I call 40 affirmations for transformation, where I give people the thought process that they need to have in
I
every
love
area
it.
of their
I
life.
love it.
In every area of their life. And I'm sorry, we are watching right now as I'm having a full circle moment.
Yep.
So y'all, throw something in the chat, encourage me, because this thing about being the whole entrepreneur has always been
Mhm.
my message. Right. But then
Yep.
I compartmentalize things and try to go to culture for a strategy
That's
when
right.
I need to go to the creator for
I'm
the
trying to tell you. He already gave you the answers. He already gave you
him
the
and
answers.
more.
Yes. And more. I love it. I love it.
Oh, but and here is the thing, right? I'm able to be in this moment. We're able to literally watch me have this moment. Why? Because I made a commitment to an activity.
Yep.
No matter how I felt, no matter how I was thinking, like it has been some tough moments. If they go
Yeah.
back and watch a few episodes, I
Yeah.
was out here lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But you best believe there was an episode that aired,
Yeah.
whether it was me by myself or with someone else. And so, how do you help people really get to a place of commitment?
So, one of the biggest things I know is accountability. So, what we do in my community is we have a weekly accountability call where we get on, we say our goals, and in our private Facebook group, we're posting those things every day. What are the three things you're going to do to move the needle? So, we do a whole goal planning session, right? In front of everybody, it's not private. And every day on the Facebook group, we're saying, listen, this is what I will do today. So one thing I teach, I think a lot of times we don't recognize our own limitations. We think we got more time in a day,
Mhm.
more energy than we really do. So I teach just get you like 3 to 5 non-negotiables. These are before I close my eyes tonight, I will do. And then you do whatever it takes to do those 3 to 5,
Yes.
right? So at the end of the day, you leave feeling like, okay, I accomplished something. But there should never be a day that you close your eyes and you don't feel accomplished in some way, right? Because that's about the God's been dealing with me on stewardship, not just my finances, but my time, my relationships, my health, every blessing that He's given me, I'm supposed to steward it well, right? So with this time stewardship, like I'm being mindful of where's my time going, because we
Mhm.
all we all say we busy. I would submit we're not nearly as busy as we think. We got way more time than we think we got. Check that the little thing they send you that shows you how much time you've been on Instagram, right?
Mhm.
So we're wasting time in places where we have plenty of time, right? So we do time audits. We look at where's your time really going, because when you start looking at what you're doing in a day, you're like, oh, that was a moment right there that I could have made the reel, or that was a moment right there I could have cut up my vegetables, or that was a moment right there I could have took a walk, but no, I was watching TV, or I was on the phone having a conversation for 40 minutes that was, you know,
Don't talk about them phone
yeah,
conversations, because them phone conversations, God really had to deliver me from that. I was like, my whole day went to conversations. I
that's
didn't
right.
do nothing
And
for
what was
myself.
accomplished?
And it's just like, no. And I love the alignment
Yeah,
here. Like,
yeah,
this is her area on how
yeah,
she like really gets women to a place of where they're actually able to live and sustain themselves and have their oxygen mask
yeah,
on. But and I want to affirm you in this moment. These are things that God walked me through, right? And so the blueprint that He's giving you for women and even a few men, because they always trickle in,
yes, they do.
that He's giving you is really a framework and a process that is from Him.
Yeah,
And so understanding that and never second guessing that, right? No matter how many people show up, no matter how many people,
just keep going.
sign up, don't second guess that, because He gave that to you. I
Thank you.
heard one of my mentors say, We as believers always crucify our saviors.
Hmm.
And he just went through the Bible and said, Jesus, what we do, crucify him.
Crucify.
And he gave other examples that I
Yeah.
don't recall. But as an entrepreneur, you have to understand you're trying to pull some people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And when you're pulling them out of their comfort zone, they don't like it because they like their comfort. And you will take that and you will internalize it as to this is something that I'm not supposed to offer, or this is something I'm not supposed to do. When in reality, what it means is I have to go and talk to their mind.
That's exactly why. But see, this is why, okay, none of our personal experiences are wasted. So remember, I said I didn't manage my emotions well.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I dealt with was a spirit of offense. And I had a great coach. So this is why it's important to have a coach because you get these revelations a lot faster. So I had a great coach who told me, he said, you can't be a grudge holder and a grace recipient at the same time. So what became clear to me in that moment is one of my spiritual gifts is shepherding God's people. God can trust me with his people. I will guide them. I will love them, but I won't do that if I'm offended. So in order to get clear about that, I had to learn to manage my emotions better. So when I'm working with people and they're resistant and they don't want to come, it's not personal. It's not me. There's a whole lot coming up for you right now. You this is not directed at me really, right? But I had to grow in that area to be able to recognize it when I see it in people, if that makes sense.
No, it makes
So
total
yeah,
sense.
because I used to, I'm never speaking to you again. So how many people would I bless with that mentality? And I'm done with you, right?
No
And
one
then I had to realize how
comes
many
down my
times,
street. No
yeah,
one.
how many times have I been
But
forgiven?
that used to be me. I was like, my cutoff game strong.
Strong,
No
strong.
new friends, no new associates, no new.
And let's talk about who rejoices when we're seriously, God created us to be in community. I don't have a single like next level that I've gone to without a coach or somebody who pushed me there. You understand what I'm saying? So if we were separated, divided, no new friends, that girl, I promise you, I was the cutoff queen, right? And I would tell you, like, you no longer exist to me. Who? And then I had to realize, like, that's a trick of the enemy. That's a trick of the enemy. That's exactly where he wants me. So let's try some of this forgiveness. And I've had situations where I got one, and I won't even go too deep into it, but I got one where there was a person who I had to work with. So we were in regular contact with each other, and I just didn't care for him. And I was waiting for the day that, like, today gonna be the day that I tell you about you. And Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, you gonna go to hell for how you acting with this person. So I began to pray and ask God to help me see some good in them. Because I didn't see none when I was praying at all.
So I'm gonna lean in here
Yeah.
because I want to say this is Proverbs 24 something. I don't know, read your Bible. It says, "Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and
That's
do
right.
not let your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see it and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him."
Come on.
Now that goes back to vengeance is mine, saith the
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And we really like, and I think when I say we really have to do it, I'm not discounting our humanity,
Right.
but I am saying we have to get our thoughts under control. And this is why
Yep.
it says we have to
It's
be
a
in the word,
requirement.
live by the word, and live by spirit and in truth. And so if the word is truth, we won't go on believing the thing that
Yep.
will cause us to be offended.
That's right.
And when I was an educator, one of the things that we started to do, because we have this holistic approach to educating our children, was to we had this analogy where it was like when our kids don't know how to tie their shoes, we teach them how to tie their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
When our kids don't know how to ride a bike, we teach them how to ride a bike.
That's right.
When they don't do what we say, we want to discipline them.
Yep.
And so when we see people, I'm gonna just say acting out because so many
Mm-hmm.
adults
Mm-hmm.
have temper tantrums and act out
There's some
and be
behind it.
acting out. If they could do better, they would do better.
Yep.
And so that's where that gift of grace and mercy comes in, and we have to show that to the
Right.
individual, and know that at some point it might be us on the other
It
end.
might be you. And see that thing, that part right there, that part right there, because it's easy for me to see your mistakes, your flaws, when I make them every day and I get grace freely. So, do I give it freely? And so that's what God really dealt with me on, being more graceful. I'm a work in progress, being more graceful. But I can definitely say my cutoff game is lessened tremendously. And it really came from me learning to manage my emotions, ask God, like, what are you trying to show me? Because it's something here that I need to see, you know. So with the coworker, we're like, um, it's a whole glory, glory to God story. But there's stuff behind it that you're not aware of. And you could be the very person that God needs to show that person what God's love looks like. You see what I'm saying? They may have never experienced it anywhere else. And you're going to act like everybody else act with them and cut them off. This
No,
is how God talked to me.
I mean, you teaching good and you
This is how he talked to me.
and the thing that about it is, like, when you get it at one level, just know you have to get it at the next level too,
Yep. Yep.
because the next level is just different players and
Yep.
it's bigger.
Yep.
And something you said earlier about, if you when you left education, you had to leave education right,
Yep.
because anything you did from there was not going to work.
It's not gonna work.
And I think if we kind of take that approach, we would see a huge shift in our life, and really leaning into, like, what is the God thing to do in
Yep.
this moment, rather than what we feel like, rather than what's right, rather
That's
than what's good.
right.
Miles Monroe says this in his book, in one of his books, because we know he has many. Um, it would have been good for Jesus to continue going down the path that he was going down, but
Mm-hmm.
the only God thing for him to do was to surrender himself
That's
up
right. That's
as
right.
a sacrifice,
Mm,
right? And if we're called to be like him, we have to understand we have to surrender ourselves up
that's
for
right.
a sacrifice, right? That means they spitting on you. It means the people you gotta save, right? It
Yep.
means they beat you, and these
Yep.
are the people you
Yep.
gotta save. It means they're laughing at you and you're
Yep.
about to resurrect.
Yep.
And resurrect some things that the world has not even seen.
Yep.
And so when we allow God to really inform our perspective, so we got
That's
our
right.
thinking.
That's right.
That's the number one thing, is like, we have our thinking, but we got to allow God to inform that
Yep.
thinking,
Yep.
just through the truth of his word and leaning into relationship. And so, how do you feel like your relationship with God transformed as you um, transformed your natural body?
Yep. This is perfect. So, one thing that God revealed to me, and I told you this about the stewardship, is
Mhm.
really about managing every. So, if I mismanage my money, why should He bless me with more? If I mismanage people, why should He bless me with more people? Right? If I mismanage my home, why should I get a bigger one? If I mismanage my family, like, why should He, So it was, I really dug into managing every blessing, and my body was just included in that, right? I want to live a long life, right? And so it really became about, okay, God, you gave me this one body. I'm so sorry for all the things I've done. Please forgive me and
Mhm.
just let me consider you, because it's not my body. Because the truth is, this is the vessel that I use to bless his people. Because everything is for his glory, right? So as this is the vessel that I'm using to bless people, I can't do that tired, which I was all the time. I was a teacher. I would go to work, come home, get in the bed, a wrap. Okay. Who are you blessing from your bed, including my own family? So I had to start realizing, like, this is how he's using me to bless people. That's the whole purpose. So managing it well. Secondly, I had to learn how to let God, like with the whole like grudge thing, I had to start having real faith in him.
Mm.
So when COVID happened, people who knew me, like I was the Lysol spraying down, you're not coming in here, it was, but what God showed me was, you're fearful. So trust me. So the whole process was like, Lord, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know where this is gonna go. And what that's what was revealed to me. He's bigger than I could ask for. He's bigger than I can even ask for. So the prayer, like literally every single day of my life, I thought I was created to be an educator. And I am. That's true. I'm always going to be an educator. But I thought I had to be a classroom teacher. So what God showed me when I was faithful enough is that you can be an educator anywhere I send you. That's your gift. And you can do that anywhere I send you. It doesn't have to be in a classroom. And if you want to do it in a classroom, do it in a classroom. But you can also do it anywhere I send you because it's for everybody, you know? So yeah, this journey of mine, I'm so thankful because this is literally what I pray for. Not the vanity of the 50 pounds, you know. That's what I asked for. But behind all that, it was blessed way more than I could have even known to ask. So I love what I get to do every single day. It's the same impact with God's people. So I thought that when I left teaching, I was wondering, like, it's going to be impactful work. There's not a day that goes by that, I don't get a testimony or a thank you or something. It's actually faster than teaching. I see my impact a little faster than teaching. So, yeah, but it was about faith and just like trusting Him, even with the people. I don't have to check anybody.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got it. You don't need my help. You don't need my help because I'm ready to jump in. And he's like, Tanisha, I got this. Sit down, right? Just
Yes,
trusting him and
yes,
believing him to
yes.
bless real big, not for me. I don't want my money for me. I want money for who's gonna get blessed when I get blessed. Every last one of these blessings, when I get them, everybody around me gonna get them. So not for me, not for my consumption, so I can be better, so somebody can say my name, so that he can get the glory.
Yeah.
So it was a whole faith walk that I had to go through. And I'm grateful for the pandemic. I know everybody don't feel that way, but I don't know that any of this would have happened if I literally felt like he stopped the world for me.
Mm,
I was like, Lord, it seemed like he stopped the world for little old me. And I heard him say in the pandemic, if you don't do it now, you'll never do it. You'll never read your word. You'll never lose this weight. You'll never get closer to your husband. You'll never do right, spend the time that you need to spend with your children, your family. I heard that in the pandemic. If you don't do it now, you'll never do it.
mm, mm. That's so good. We just thank you for all that you outlined for
Mhm.
us. And I
Thank you
know that
for
this is
having me.
one that like folks need to come back and rewatch because there were so many good frameworks that you laid out, and even myself laying out and
Yeah,
testimonies that came from this that can not only encourage you but inform you and equip you and empower you to do what you need to do on your next level. And
that's
for
right.
those of you all that are like, my next level is entrepreneurship, you want to make sure
Mhm.
that you visit my website. And I'm actually
Yeah,
cooking up something that's going to be amazing to really get
can't wait
people's
to see it.
brands started from scratch the right way, and actually make it profitable sooner rather than later. So you
Yeah,
want to make sure you tap in and at least get on the newsletter. And if you have a business, you have a podcast, you have programs, you definitely want to make sure that you're reaching out to me to legally protect it so that no
that's
one else can steal it. Y'all, it's been great. We'll see you soon next time. And it's always going to be a great one. Be more and do more as you journey to more. Take care.